Students, welcome you all on the behalf of Rahul Anand Biology Tutorials. So, as you know that I am Rahul Anand and this is somewhat around my channel whose name is actually what? Whose name is actually the Rahul Anand Biology Tutorials. So now, let's begin with the very interesting topics which are often being asked in terms of your Neet, often the Aiims, often the All India Pre-Medical Examination. So these are literally belonging from which of the chapters of your book? So these are belonging from the animal kingdom. So fine. So today we are going to study about what? So we are going to study about the important characteristics as well as the features with reference to the important phyla, which is actually what? Which is actually the mollusca or rather the mollusca. As well as when we are talking about these cases, so you are often having what? So as well as when we are talking about these cases, so you are often having the very important trick or either the formula in order to remember these particular process in terms of the different characteristics as well as the features with reference to the characteristics or other the features in terms of your phylum, such as in this case we will be having the phylum of the mollusca. Now, so we are having the formula. So these formula are actually what? So these are the nice traits. Now, so let's elaborate as well as understand means what does these literally term means. So when we are talking about the N case, so in this case the N will be standing for what? So in this case the N will be standing for the name. Then we are having the E, meaning term of what? Meaning of the environment. Then what? Then it of the C. So here C will be standing for what? So C will be standing for the common name. Then we are having what? Then we are having the dress. In term of the D will be standing for what? So your D will be standing for the mode of digestion. Then we are having the R, meaning term of what? Meaning of the reproduction. Then E, in term of what? So when we are talking about the E, in term it will be standing for the example case. After that you are having what? So after that you are having the S, means the sex. Then what? Then the supporting features, then the special features. Then what? Then in the last we will be having here, meaning of the structure resemblance with reference to the different examples. Now, so let's understand about these. So when we are talking about the case of the mollusca, so the name of the phylum is what? So it will be the mollusca. After that, when we are talking about these cases, so the mollusca was particularly being termed by whom? So Aristotle played an important role to term these meaning of the mollusca, which is actually the phylum. Now, so we are talking about the environment. So in which literally environment these mollusca are literally being present. So these are present in the aquatic, then the marine, as well as in terms of the freshwater bodies. In terms of when we are talking about case of what? When we are talking about the case of the phylum of the mollusca, as well as when we are talking about the case of the common name. So the common name of the mollusca will be what? Very clearly knowing meaning of the mollusk. Mollusk means the soft. As well as when we are talking about the case of the ka. Ka means what? So ka means the body. So the soft body resemblance will be coming under the case of the mollusca. Often when we are talking about the case, in the case of the digestive system. So in this case what will be happening? So in this case the complete digestive tract will be literally being present, or either you could say that the complete digestive system will be literally present. Now, so we are often having the another important features as well as the characteristics in it, as well as when we are talking about this case, means in terms of what? In the case of the mollusca, such as in this case we will be having what? So in this case we will be having the excretory system. So the excretory system will be taking place with reference to what? So in this case the excretion system will be occurring with reference to the nephridia. Okay, fine. So you could find here on the board here. So here is the excretory system. So these are often popularly known as what? So these are often popularly known as, tell me. So these are often popularly known as the organs of bosoms. As well as we are often having the certain types of the important characteristics features in it, such as in this case, when we are talking about the respiratory system, it will be present. But when we are talking about what is actually the respiratory system, so respiration is actually what? So it is the biochemical process which will be organized or initiated from the micro level towards the macro level, or either the vice versa case. Now, so we are talking about the respiratory system, or either the course of respiration in the case of the phyla will be employed by what? So it will be employed by nothing else but your heart in terms of the pulmonary sac, as well as the book lungs, or either the lungs in terms of the gills. So these are literally being present in terms of the terrestrial species, as well as we are often having what? So as well as we are often having the, tell me, in terms of the, tell me, here in terms of the, we have did about the lungs, then the mental cavity. Often we have did about the, tell me, the here in terms of the pulmonary sac. Then when we are talking about the case of the here meant of the circulation, so in this case the circulation will be what? So when we are talking about the case of the mollusca, so in this case the circulation will be open type. Now, so let's deal with reference to the nervous system. So when we are talking about the case of the nervous system, so it will be having what? So it will be having the paired ganglia. Then it will be often having what? So it will be having the cerebellum. So you could find it on the board, such as here. So it will be having the paired ganglia. Then the here meant of the cerebral, as well as these are often having what? So it will be having the visceral mass. Find here. Here is the visceral mass. Now, So when we are talking about these cases, so in this case of the mollusca, what will be happening? So these are having the complex type of, tell me, so these are having the complex type of the digestive tract. Often when we are talking about these cases in terms of the another characteristics, so you are very clear about that, means what are actually these, why it is literally being complex, because why? So it will be bearing the specialized type of the organ system. Thus in this case the digestive system or rather the digestive tract will be literally present. Fine, here also written as well as here also written. As well as when we are talking about these cases in terms of the chemoreceptors, so in this case the chemoreceptors will be present. It will be playing important role for what? To accommodate with reference to the different types of the vital course of here in terms of the stimula, or either to coordinate with reference to the different course of the accommodation with reference to the stimula in terms of the chemosenses. So it will be performed by what? So it will be performed by nothing else but your chemoreceptors. As well as after that we are having the photoreceptors organ which are literally being present. Okay, so when we are talking about these cases, means what are actually the photoreceptors organ, remember? So the particular organ which will be quite a bit sensitive toward the beam of photons, and photon are what? So photon are the packet of energy. So it will be coming under what cases? So it will be coming under nothing else but your here meta of the eye cases. After that, when we are talking about the another features in the case of what? In the case of the mollusca, so we'll be having what thing? So when we are talking about these cases in terms of the mollusca, so in this case we'll be having the here in terms of the morula. So morula is so when we are talking about these cases, means what are actually the radula. So the mouth will be bearing what? So your mouth will be bearing the file-like receiving organs. So these are popularly known as what? So these are popularly known as the radula. Now, so when we are talking about the another features in it, so we have dealt about the certain of the parts as well as according to our formula, such as by the formula of the Neat race. In term we have understood means what are actually the name. Then what? Then we have often understood means what are actually the environment in which these literally present. Often we have dealt the bit introduction, means what are actually the common environment in which these are literally being present. Then we have dealt about the mode of the digestion now. So when we are talking about the S, so here S is standing for the sexes. So in this case what will be happening? So in this case the sexes will be separate. Often the internal fertilization will be occurring. So when we are talking about the case of the fertilization, so you are very clear about that. Nothing to make you explain now. Often these are literally being generally oviparous. Oviparous means what? So it will be laying eggs. Now, so when we are talking about the example, so in this case we are having what? So in this case we have the pila. Then we are having what? So we have the pila, then the septa, then what? Then it of the octopus, then what? Then the apacia, then the dentholium. As well as we are often having the another features as well as the characteristics of the examples in it. Find here. So here is the dentholium, then the loligo. So this is somewhat the condition when we are talking about the case of the example. Now, so when we are talking about the another features in terms of the rest of the portions, such as we are having the special features, then what? Then we will be having the supporting features. So now let's particularly encounter as well as understand about it in terms of the so when we are talking about the case of here meta of the sexes, so in this case of the mollusc, what will be happening? So in the case of the mollusc, the sexes will be separate. Often when we are talking about the case of the special features, then the supporting features, then the structure. So in the case of the special features, what will be happening? So these are the second largest animal phylum. As well as when we are talking about these cases, so in this case of the phylum mollusc, the body will be divided in terms of the three broad categories, such as what? Such as in terms of the head, then the body, as well as the mental cavity. Often the head, body, thorax, then the mental cavity. As well as when we are talking about the another cases, so in this case we will be often having the hump. Now, so when we are talking about the case of the mental cavity, so it is what? So the space between the mental, then what? So the space between the mental and the hump. So these are literally known as what? So these are literally known as the mental cavity. Often when we are talking about the rest of the portion, such as we have did about the supporting feature, special features literally, then we are having the supporting features. So now let's understand about these means what are actually the supporting features. So we are talking about these cases in terms of the mollusc or rather the phylum mollusc. So it will be literally having the foot. So these foots are literally done what? So these here meta of the foot are literally being modified in order to form the portion of the body wall, often playing important role to provide them the locomotive features or rather what? Rather the locomotion like symptoms. As well as when we are talking about these cases in terms of the mollusc, so their body is being divided in terms of what? So their body is being divided in terms of the three layers, or rather you could say that in term they are known as the triploblastic. Means what? So it will be bearing the cells. Okay, fine. So its cell will be divided in terms of the, tell me. So its cell will be divided in terms of the three broad categories. As well as when we are talking about these cases in terms of the mollusc, so these are what? So these are bilaterally symmetrical. when we are talking about the case means what are actually the bilaterally symmetrical. So it means what? So the body which will be divided into the two equal halves. So it will be coming under the case of the bilaterally symmetrical, as well as these are often known as the unsegmented. So you could find on the board here. So it is unsegmented. But when we are talking about these cases in terms, so we'll be often having the certain cases as well as the exception. So we are having the neoplana gelaiti. In this case, this will be not what? So this will be not bilaterally symmetrical. Means the particular organism or the animal are coming under this case of the phyla Molluscae. So this will be not what? So this will be not in term bilaterally symmetrical. Now, so when we are talking about the case of the example, so we'll be having the phyla. Then what? So phyla is the apple's name. Then what? Often we'll be having the octopus. Then what? Then we'll be having the mollusc. So we are very clear about that. Means in terms what are actually the mollusc, as well as why we are calling it as the mollusc. So these are literally being the soft bodies, really. As well as so these are known as what? So these are literally known as what? So these are literally known as the soft bodies. So this is the somewhat condition when we are talking about the case of the phyla Molluscae. Often we have dealt about the bit introduction, means what are actually the important characteristic features with reference to the different level, as well as by the help of the formula. It is quite a bit understandable, as well as what? As well as these are very clear. Remember the formula. So we are in the Neat brace, where N standing for what? Where the N standing for the name, then here E standing for the environment, then the C is standing for the common name, then the D is standing for the digestion, then we are in the R. So R will be standing for the reproduction. Then here in terms of the E will be standing for the excretion, or either the sorting. So it will be example of the example. Then we are having the DRE. So we have dealt about the E. So particularly. Then we are having the SS like symptoms. So you are very clear about that. Means it will be the sexes, then the here we have the special features, then the supporting features, as well as the particular structure resemblance, as well as what? As well as here we have the structure. So you are very clearly understanding about these cases. So you could often write these. So if you like the word with reference to the education as well as the lectures, so you could often comment below in the text. Thus I will be knowing that what concept actually you are hungry for, or what haven't you understood or either got. So you could often like that, then particularly subscribe, then share my lectures with reference to what? With reference to the Rahul Anand biology tutorial. So very thank you.